In this video, I'm going to show you how to build your first no-code AI agent in under 15 minutes. I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly how to set it up. And by the end of this video, you will have your first working AI agent. So first, let me give you a preview of what this AI agent can do, and then we'll build it out step by step. So I'm using Lindy AI here, and I'm going to chat with my agent directly in Lindy, and I'm going to say, please do some research on AI agents, summarize it, and publish it in a new Notion page, and then email me a link to the Notion page. So I'm asking it to do 4 different tasks just in natural language. And then within Lindy on the back end, we can see how the agent is breaking this into tasks, how it's thinking, and how it's going to work through this step by step. This is what I love about Lindy. We can see everything that's happening on the back end. So you can see it's gathering information about AI agents through the web. So I've equipped it with a bunch of different tools, which I'll talk about, that enables this agent to do all of this work. So it searched the internet, did a couple of searches. Now it's going to summarize it like I asked it to do. Now it's moving on to the Notion step. Okay, let me create a new Notion page with this summary. It's going to select the most appropriate page for the research. And now it's going to create the page inside of Notion. All right, you can see here it's creating the page in Notion. Now the last step is it's supposed to email me a link to that Notion page. So it's saying that it sent the email to myself. I'm going to hop into my actual Gmail, refresh my inbox. There is the email. Your requested research on AI agents is the subject. So it drafted this entire email. It's saying that this Notion page is going to work. Let's see. Let me open up this page. AI agents, current state and future trends 2025. So it executed this flawlessly. Let me show you how you can build this on your own step by step. All right, let me just walk through exactly what we're doing on building your first, and I truly mean no code AI agent, and I'll get into this in a second. So these are the tools that I'm using. For my agents, I prefer using Lindy AI over N8N every single day of the week, and I'll touch on that in a second. I'm a big fan of Lindy. I'm also a big fan of Gumloop. But for agents, Lindy is my favorite. So I'm going to be using Lindy AI. I'm going to be using Notion. I mean, this is just a demo. You could publish this anywhere to Google Docs if you want. And I'm going to be using Gmail. So all tools that everyone generally has access to. Now, what you don't need in this agent builder, you don't need N8N, which to me is not beginner friendly at all. Yes, it's very powerful and a great tool, but it is not beginner friendly, nor is it no code. We don't need JSON or buffer memories or expressions. Let me show you how easy we can do this in Lindy. All right. And now let me just zoom in a little bit on our workflow. So we're going to be starting with a Lindy chat. As you saw, we can start this agent workflow within Lindy itself. Optionally, we could also start it in Telegram or Slack. But for this video, we're going to start it in Lindy. Okay. So that chat is going to go to our AI agent, all right, which is the brains of the operation here. And we're going to equip that agent with some tools, right? A web research tool so it can find the latest information in our example on AI agents to write the report. We're going to equip it with an AI summary tool. So it's going to take all of that web research and condense it down into a summary. And then we're going to equip it and then also write the report. And we're going to equip it with a Notion tool, of course, because just in this demo, I'm going to have that summary written for me into my Notion account. And then lastly, of course, as you saw, we need a Gmail tool so the agent can email me to let me know it's done and email me a link to the Notion page. And this is what the build out looks like inside of Lindy. So in N8N, these tools would be kind of their own nodes that go across the screen, but Lindy kind of simplifies the layout. So it looks like less is going on, but they're kind of just tucked under the main agent. But again, we're starting it with a message received. So a Lindy chat. Again, if you wanted to, you could trigger this in Slack. You could trigger this in Telegram, WhatsApp, wherever, but I'm doing the Lindy chat. Then it's going to our agent, okay? And we're going to equip our agent. We'll talk about the prompt later, but we're going to equip our agent with a bunch of tools, or as Lindy calls them, skills. All right, we want to browse the internet. We want to create a page in Notion, and then we want the AI to summarize and write up a report. And then we're going to send that report to the Gmail node or the Gmail function here. So it's going to be able to email myself a summary and a nice link into Notion. So this is how it looks like in Lindy, and now we'll build it out step by step. All right, so when you are logged into your Lindy dashboard, it's going to look something like this. So we're going to create this from scratch. So you can see the new Lindy button over here. I'm going to click Start from Scratch, and you're going to be prompted to select a trigger, okay? How does your AI agent start? So I'm going to click Select Trigger. As I mentioned, there's a few ways to do this. Here's Slack, here's Telegram, here's WhatsApp, and we can certainly do future videos on those. But if this is truly your first agent, we're going to start with a chat with this Lindy, which means that everything works on the Lindy platform itself, or it initiates on the Lindy platform. Then I'm going to select Message Received. All right, we don't need to do a greeting message or a conversation starter, so we can keep going here. So the next thing that we need to do is add our AI agent. All right, we need to connect this message to our agent. And you can see Lindy is kind of anticipating our next steps here, and helpfully they have it right here. So I want to enter an AI agent up here. And now that I have my second step, I can actually come up here and rename this. So I'm going to call this YouTube First Agent. Okay. I'm going to make sure this is turned on. So when I want to trigger this, it actually works. And now that I've saved it up here. So this is saved. We've got our message received. And now we can start to play around with the AI agent node here. All right. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is put in a prompt. Okay, what is the job of the AI agent in this workflow? So now remember, for my example workflow, I'm going to send it a chat. I'm going to ask it to do research on XYZ. It needs to go perform that research on the web. It needs to use AI to summarize and write a report on that. It needs to publish that into Notion, and then after, it's going to send me it through email. All right. So that's the context. So first I'll show you the full prompt. I'm not going to read it, but I will show you how I used ChatGPT to help me generate the prompt. So let me just paste in the prompt here. Okay. And again, I'm not going to walk through this whole thing, but we have an overall instruction with the objectives. Don't need the quotes. So here's the objective, right? Do some research on XYZ topic. Summarize the findings, publish the summary in a Notion's page, then email me a link to that Notion page. And then each step is kind of laid out here. So ChatGPT did the heavy lifting here, but I've got the web research, I've got the AI summarizer, and I've got the create Notion page. And then I do have the Gmail sender here, which it's going to pass off to at the end. But if you're wondering, how do I write a 500-word prompt, let me give you how simple the prompt was that I gave to ChatGPT. I gave it a little context, and then it filled in the rest of the blanks for me. All right, so here is my ChatGPT window. I was using O3 Mini. All right, so all I provided it, so first I gave it a screenshot of my agent in the tools. The Gmail's not in there, but that's okay. So what you're looking at the top is I screenshotted the actual workflow, right, which has the AI agent, the web research, the Notion, and the summarizer. And then this is all that I prompted it with, right? I need a detailed prompt for my AI agent, which you can see here, which is the image. And then I said, here is a one-sentence descriptor of what it does. I just need these fleshed out much more comprehensively so it understands each tool that it has access to. And then this is the one-sentence descriptor that I gave it, right? This is what the agent does in one sentence. And then I said, here are the tools that it has access to. Please break the prompt up into sections by tool, right? So I asked it to separate out web research and AI summarizer and create Notion page. Where did we go? And that's all, right? And then it took 14 seconds. Again, I used O3 Mini, and it came up with this whole prompt. So I pasted the whole prompt in right over here. So this is what I did for the prompts. Okay, now that we have our prompt fully fleshed out, we can keep going with the AI agent settings, which again are in the right-hand sidebar here. Next, you can select your model. It defaults to Sonnet 3.5. 3.7 was just released, so we can play around with that if we want. But this is where you select your model. Confirmation, I'm not going to go over this right now. I'm going to set this at never, but if you want, you can have Lindy ask for permission or confirmation to keep going with its tasks, right? Because think about it. It's going to send us an email, which is not that big of a deal because it's going to ourselves. But if you had set this up where you emailed your boss a report, you may want to set up a confirmation that says always, or maybe let AI decide. So it checks in with you before doing all of the tasks. Okay, that's what the confirmation there is for. But since I'm only emailing myself, and this is just a demo video, I'm going to leave that as never. All right, the next very important part here are the tools, or Lindy calls them skills, right? So again, what do we want to equip our AI agent to be able to do? So if you look at our flow, first thing we're going to ask it to do is go and search the web, okay? So I'm going to come down to skills, I'm going to click the plus button, and then these are all of the skills or actions that you can assign to your AI agent. And this one down here is web browser, which you can either extract text from web pages or search the internet. So truthfully, these two options, they're kind of similar to me, but I'm gonna go search the internet. So I'm gonna hit the add action there. Now you can see that our AI agent has its first tool, which is gonna browse the internet. Now, when we go back to our plan over here, what do we want it to also do? So it's going to go out and find a bunch of information on the internet, but we want an AI to come in and kind of summarize and condense this information for us. So the next tool or skill that I'm going to use is the AI tool, which is down here, right over here. Okay, so it says use AI to generate text. So they have both a summarize and a write option. You know, summarize also writes. So I'm going with the summarize option, but if you want to play around with the write option as well, you can do that. But I'm going to add the summarize as my second action over here. All right. So we have our browser and we have our AI summarize tools. Now, again, going back to our diagram, the next thing that we want to add here is Notion. Right? Again, this is just my workflow. If you want to write it to Google Docs, you can write it to Google Docs, but I am going to do a Notion writer. Now, if this is and I'm just going to search for Notion, create page. If this is your first time using Notion inside of Lindy, you will have to hook up your account, obviously your credentials. It's very easy. They show you how to do that. So for Notion, I am going to just, in this example, have it create a brand new page. So I'm just going to select that and then add one action. So we have got our Notion action over here as well. All right, now that we've equipped our agent with these three tools, I want to add a next step, which is to send an email based on these three actions that it's taken. So I'm not going to add it as a tool, although honestly, if you tested putting the tool in here itself, I bet you it would work. I'm going to add this, however, as a new step, right? As a new action. And that's going to be to send a Gmail. So again, if you have not connected your Gmail yet to Lindy, you're going to have to connect it. It will prompt you. It's just single sign on. So it happens very fast, unlike N8N. Very easy. So let's search for send email, which is down here. Again, my Gmail account is already set up. So there's a couple things going on right here. The first thing is the Gmail or the send email configuration. So this is my email. Again, the model, you can change it if you want. I mean, 3.5 is totally fine, but let's use 3.7. Now we have all of these settings down here. So again, we see the ask for confirmation setting again, which if you are emailing somebody other than yourself, you may want to put this on So it checks in with you to make sure it's okay to send the email. For this demo, I'm going to leave it turned off. Now, for all of these other fields, I'm going to leave these exactly as is. So the AI is going to be able to determine the subject and the body. So remember when I demoed it at the top of the video with the email, it had the subject, it had the body of the email, no prompting on my part, no settings on my part, no expressions or anything like that. AI automatically filled it in, and that's what this setting is. So the signature, we don't necessarily want this sent from Lindy, so I'm going to turn that off. But other than that, I'm going to leave these settings the same, and it's always a good idea to come in here and save. Now, this was going to bring me to my next point, which you may have noticed when we added this step after the AI agent, Lindy is going to prompt us to add what they call an exit condition. Truthfully, I think they could explain this a little bit better, but they're basically saying, when should the AI agent stop executing on its task, right? So it's saying the AI agent step will continue to execute on its task until it determines it is complete. And it's saying the condition, the exit condition, when should it exit? So for this, I'm saying exit once you have completed the internet search, summary, and created the Notion page. Okay, so we need to tell the agent basically when it's completed its job. So it has to do all three of those things, and then it can step out of the automation. But this is part of the Lindy workflow that you do have to get used to, which are these exit conditions. So I've set this exit condition. Again, I'm going to come up here and save. And now, believe it or not, our agent is ready for testing. All right, so let's test out this agent. So in Lindy, make sure you've saved it. Make sure your agent is actually on, right? You've enabled it up here. Now, the way that we chat with the agent is actually not as intuitive as I would like, but right, there really should be a chat button here that opens up a chat window. But you have to go into tasks, and now you can see the chat function, right? So this is where we can chat with our Lindy when we choose that chat function to trigger the agent. So again, I'm going to give it a prompt here, and let's just switch it up a little bit. So I'm going to say, please do some research on OpenAI, summarize it, and publish it to a new Notion page. Then email me a link to the Notion page. So I'm going to fire that off. And one of my favorite parts about Lindy is we can see everything that's happening with this agent in the background, step by step. It tells us what it's thinking. It tells us what it's doing. We can click these little drop downs. We can click these little drop downs, and it's going to show us the search that it's doing on, I believe that's Google News. Okay, it's still searching. Right now it's searching OpenAI company history achievements. Maybe not the best search. Now it's going to summarize everything that it has found. And you can see I didn't have to put any dates in there. It knows what day it is kind of automatically. Now it's going to create a new Notion page with the summary. So I love how you can follow along. It's kind of like in deep research with ChatGPT, when you can see all of the thinking steps and all of the research that it's doing. You can see all of the thinking steps, all of the action steps. So it's created the page, okay? So we can get a preview of that Notion page. And now you can see it's going to exit remember we had to put that condition to exit after it finishes the research. And we have the Gmail functionality on the back end. So if I hop back into my Gmail, see that email. And there it is. Your requested research on OpenAI. Remember, I left the subject wide open. I left the body text wide open. I guess I forgot to save that. You can turn this off, but it's saying, hello, Mike, I've completed the research on OpenAI you requested and created a comprehensive summary in a Notion page. You can access it here. There's the link. The page includes current developments, achievements, market position, and future outlook for OpenAI as of March 2025, which is where we are. It's March 5th. 2025, I said nothing about the date. I didn't have to change any settings to tell what date it was. Now let's see if that Notion link actually works. So let's open it up in Notion. Okay, I connected my Notion account, OpenAI, a comprehensive overview, March 2025. We've got key developments, we've got recent achievements, market position, current focus area, product innovation, industry impact, future outlook, and challenges. So a nice little report inside of Notion that it sent me based on one chat. So let me know in the comments below what kind of agent or workflow you want to see me build out next. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.